Where do you, like, if you had to rank the sport's top GC riders, like currently, right now, if the Tour de France started on Monday, who do you think are the best GC riders right now?
Well, first of all, there's Tadej Pogaćar. He's the best in basically everything. And then, I mean, if you look at it, for me personally, quality-wise, the two guys who are now leading, Tirreno and Paris, are the next two. I think that's the top three. Del Toro probably, I mean, in the Tour, when he has to work for Tadej, he probably won't finish third. But, quality-wise, I think he's up there.
Everybody, welcome back to the Move Plus. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bruyneel. We are going through the news and racing recaps of the past week in professional cycling. We have Paris running right now. Jonas Vingegaard dominating the field there. And we have Tirreno-Adriatico with Isaac del Toro taking the race lead from Giulio Pelizzari. Johan, I'm just going to run through the stage winners really quick. It's pretty jarring because the last time we spoke on Saturday, Tadej Pogaćar had ruined professional cycling. Everyone's up in arms. This is boring. A mere few days later, Pogačar's old news. It is now Jonas Vingegaard's sport. Get out of the way, Tadej. You're done. You're washed up. But if we cast our minds all the way back to Sunday, the day after Strade Bianche, Luke Lamperti, American, who we called out actually, I think a week before, as having two top tens at the opening weekend, Omloop and Kuurne, win stage 1. Max Cantor wins stage 2. Team time trial stage 3, won by Ineos Grenadiers / Kevin Vauquelin, because it was kind of this goofy team time trial where you take individual times, and remember that because that's going to come around at the Tour de France. Jonas Vingegaard wins stage 4. Terrible rainy day. He just dominates everybody. Pretty interesting with Red Bull pulling him along the whole time. Stage 5 yesterday, Jonas Vingegaard, it's nice. And he says, I can win on nice days too. Just drops everybody, rides away solo, extends his lead. Harold Tejada on XDS Astana wins today. Kind of a good, interesting move. But then before we talk about that, Tirreno, stage 1, Filippo Ganna wins the individual time trial to start the race. Mathieu Vanderpool wins stage 2. Tobias Lund Andersen on decathlon wins stage 3. Mathieu Vanderpool wins again stage 4 yesterday. We should talk about that. That was kind of an interesting select group at the end. And then Michael Valgren on EF today, winning ahead of Isaac del Toro and Mathieu Jorgenson. His first win since 2021. Johan, I believe he's had a lot of injury issues.
Yeah.
Unclear to me, but what are all the issues he's had? And then I assume this is got to be a major win for him.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Valgren, let's not forget, this is an ex-winner of Amstel Gold Race. Was also... did he win the Amstel Gold?
He did, 2018.
Yeah. Didn't he also win at Nieuwsblad? He
year? Won, yes, same year.
And he was third in the World Championships in Leuven also.
Yes.
I do remember that. So, he had a crash. I do remember he had a crash. Really, I mean, career and threatening crash. They kept him on the team. He actually, I think one year he went down to the development team of EF. And then occasionally raced some races with the World Tour team, but yeah, I mean he's back. I think he was top 10 in Strade Bianche, if I'm not mistaken. He was up there in the final at least. So yeah, I mean you could see. I mean he was from a breakaway. He dropped Alaphilippe on his terrain. Of course, Alaphilippe is not the Alaphilippe anymore. We know from his prime time, but still, it's Jules Alaphilippe. So really nice victory. But yeah, Tirreno has been really interesting, Spencer. The time trial first, Ghana wins, no surprise. We were looking at what the GC riders would do. I think, except Carapaz, who did a terrible time trial, everybody else was where we expected them to be. And then, Mathieu Vanderpool, man, 2 stage wins. That first win was very impressive because there was some gravel and some uphill at the end, and he was the only guy of his stature up there with all the climbers. And he won against Pelizzari and Del Toro. Difficult to win for him, but he did win.
Hard-fought victory. You rarely see him that tired.
See him win like this, but it shows that he was on the limit. He was on the limit. But yesterday's victory was even more impressive. There was a break. I mean, there was a break first, then he caught the break. Then there was a select group with all the GC riders and some sprinters. But man, when he took off, that was, I mean, I thought when he left, it was 300 meters to go.
300 meters to go.
Was headwind. And so that was really impressive. So I made a little note that said, Mathieu Vanderpool is very, very ready for Milan-San Remo. Not just because of that sprint, but there was a moment in yesterday's stage where Del Toro attacked on the top of a climb, and man, he was on that like unbelievable. So I think it looks good for him for Milan-San Remo. There's, in my opinion, only one rider who can beat him is Pogaćar, and he needs to drop him. We've already seen that in the past it's not easy to drop Vanderpool on the climbs like Milan-San Remo. And I do think that his condition right now is probably a bit better than last year's condition. Last year he did also Tirreno, didn't manage to win a stage. Now he won 2 already. And he looks really, really powerful and comfortable. Now the question is, how much better is Pogaćar than last year? I have an impression that he is better than last year. So actually, I know he's better than last year. Because little side note, as you know, we were at Strade Bianche for 4 days on this trip, and we did the Gran Fondo on Sunday. And so in the morning when we went to the start, I ran into Mauro Gianetti, who was there. He didn't ride, but he was there. So I stopped and talked to him a little bit, and he did mention that what they've seen in terms of numbers from Pogaćar is an improvement compared to last year. So it's not the same level; it's better. At the same time, I also know that the rest of the peloton is also better than last year.
Well, we looked at. I think you said on the show, you're like, "Oh, I bet he's about the same as last year," and then. Oops, should have checked the Velon account because they had his power numbers from Strada and he was 40 watts higher than last year. I would say, though, he was away with
that's to take with a grain of salt. I think 40 watts that's a big improvement. But he is better. He is on a higher level. I did speak with other people from teams after Strade Bianche, and they said that, the riders say that the peloton has risen the level again. So that most of the riders are on a higher level. If you produce what you did 2-3 years ago in Strade Bianche, you're not in front. So it keeps getting higher and higher.
Have we calibrated these power meters? Can this be true? I mean, Tom Danielson had a theory that like everyone's trained, the way they're training, they get better and better. Like they're stacking training. And then back in the day, you'd be good. And then people would take like 3 months off and then would fight to get back where they were the year before, that maybe that wasn't the best way to be training to improve every year. Kind of an interesting theory. We should say stage 4, we kind of glossed over this, but Mathieu Vanderpool was there. That was an elite group because Mathieu Jorgenson went to the front it was a final climb, shortish final climb. Mathieu gets the front and he's a little out of the GC because he was sitting 4th at the time. He crashed. You mentioned Vanderpool winning the stage 2 uphill finish on the gravel. Electric, super exciting. But Mathieu was right behind Vanderpool, crashed, so he lost a little bit of time there. But he gets to the front and absolutely destroys the field. The guy looks like he's in incredible shape. And then, as you say, Del Toro attacked over the top. Vanderpool marked him. And then Mathieu just got back on the front and held the race together until the final kilometer. Really, really impressive from both Mathieu to do that and then Vanderpool to be there. It is kind of interesting to me. Do you remember? So last year you said Mathieu Vanderpool doesn't win any stages here, and then obviously has an amazing spring. Wins San Remo, wins E3, wins Roubaix, 3rd at Flanders. Do you remember 2021 Mathieu Vanderpool or Mathieu Vanderpool? It's what I always want to call him because that's what George calls him. Mathieu Vanderpool has one of the most impressive Tirreno-Adriaticos I've ever seen. Remember, it's like the 55K solo breakaway in front of Pogaćar. And then he has one of his worst springs of his career, Spring Classics. is there something to this? And today, to be fair, he did sit up. He didn't like fight. He probably could have fought.
He tried it first, and then when he saw that it was really too hard, he just didn't insist.
So you can almost see him metering his effort. I assume that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, he won at Nieuwsblad, right? He wins 2 stages now. Basically, the rest of the Tirreno, he can just cruise and just monitor his condition and make sure he recovers and he's fresh for Milan-San Remo. I mean, there's no pressure on him anymore now. I mean, if he gets another opportunity, he'll take it, but I don't think there's any more opportunities because tomorrow's a super hard stage, probably the hardest of the whole.
Do you think he could be fighting for the GC here if he really wanted to?
No. I don't think so. Not with these guys. I mean, he could be top 10, but he can't be top 3. I don't think so.
And we should say the GC is, after stage 5, Isaac del Toro taking the lead. I don't know if you noticed this. Del Toro sat up yesterday, didn't get a time bonus. Pelizzari got second and got a time bonus. Pretty clever there.
Yeah.
But Del Toro's now in the race lead because he attacked. Also, Del Toro, he just, whatever he needs, he takes. He's like, oh, I need 20 seconds. Let me get 20 seconds in a half a kilometer on a climb. Del Toro is leading. Pelizzari's second at 23 seconds back. Mathieu Jorgenson, who followed Del Toro today, is now third at 34 seconds back. Roglić, fourth at 44 seconds back. Looks pretty good. Giulio Ciccone, fifth at 105 back. So, as you said, tomorrow is the mountain stage, the toughest mountain stage. Pretty hard finish, 3.2K, 9% average to the finish.
Oh, they do that climb 3 times, Spencer. I think if I look correctly at the profile.
It's like a big old loop they do in the last.
It's very hard. They
50K.
do a horse category climb at the beginning of the stage already. But yeah, I mean, I think Del Toro has this, unless he has an off day. Funny actually to see that, he, I wonder what the atmosphere is there in their building, so he basically kills his neighbor, his first neighbor in UAE, Tiberi. And now he kills his other neighbor, Pelizzari in Tirreno.
Yeah, I know.
They seem to get along very well. It's race, but it must be strange to basically have to race, and try to take the leader's jersey away off both of your neighbors and your training partners because they train together. They live together, train together, have the same agent. They're on 3 different teams. And Tiberi was in the lead and looked on his way to victory in UAE. Del Toro didn't let that happen. And now, I mean, after we could, I mean, it was not decided because it was only 2 seconds. But man, what a rider, man. What a killer. The guy just knows how to win races. I mean, he didn't win today, but I think he's going to win. He's going to win this. And I mean, he dropped everybody. And then Mathieu Jorgenson was first dropped and came back and then actually drove it, to get on the podium. So Jorgenson is definitely in good shape, very good shape.
He's not going to win Paris-Nice, I think, for the 3rd year in a row. But he might be better. I mean, I've been so impressed with him this week. Mm. It sounds goofy because he's in 3rd place, but without that crash, and he's just looked so strong, like comprehensively strong.
Very, very powerful, yeah. And yesterday, let's not forget, he did all the work for Wout.
Yeah.
Right, win the stage. So he's in really, really good condition, Jorgenson.
One thing about Del Toro that, he didn't win today, but almost that really impresses me is 22, didn't have great GC success until the Giro last year. He's not really an experienced stage racer. It just kind of feels like he's picked it up. Like he can meter these efforts so well. Today, he just does what he needs to do to take the lead, to take a little chunk, doesn't overdo it, doesn't take too many risks. Like Valgren wins, that's fine. I'm second. I'm now in the race lead. I'm going to go into tomorrow. Like the maturity and ability to manage a race it's blowing my mind watching him get better at it by the day.
Yeah, no, he looks like a really seasoned professional. I mean, he is already a seasoned professional, even if it's only his 2nd year. But the guy doesn't make many mistakes, Like you could say yesterday was maybe a mistake, but, it was 2 seconds.
I would say the mistake was, did you see him? He kind of grabbed Christian by like his neck. And I think he was like, hey, man, you're going to attack inside the final K and we're going to win this. He probably should have just had him leading him out for the podium, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe he already knew it wasn't going to come down to seconds. But if you look at today and then especially tomorrow, those stages are really, really hard. Look who's back, Spencer. Look who's back after an absence.
Oh, Bobby.
Mr. Bobby's back. He just said he wanted to come on screen and say hi to our listeners. I know everybody loves Bobby, and we've gotten comments that they want to see him again. So here he is. Hey, Bobby. What do you think of Paris-Nice and Tirreno-Adriatico? What do you think? It sounds like he doesn't care.
Well, we'll get to Paris-Nice. His thoughts on Paris-Nice might match mine. That's not been my favorite race to watch.
Yeah.
Well, and we should say, Del Toro, at the end of this episode, we'll talk about the greater state of things, but I also think Giulio Pelizzari, I've been impressed with how explosive he is. I knew he was a good climber. I did not know he could ride like this.
Listen, he definitely made a big step forward in the off season compared to last year. He's matured, he gets the confidence of the team. Even Primož Roglić was working for him today whenever he could. He hardly could, but whatever he did something. And so, he's establishing himself as, one of the leaders. He had Jay Hindley working for him. At some point, ex-Giro winner. So, definitely, if you think about where he was 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't he on Bardiani?
He was on Bardiani 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's when he got caught. Remember, he got caught by Pogaćar at the
Giro.
Yeah.
And then Pogaćar gave him his glasses, right? That's him, right?
Yeah, that's him.
Wow. He's come a long way since then.
I know. Yeah, he's really. I know we talk a lot about Paul Seixas and Del Toro, but he's another guy I would circle. Like, very good stage racer and learning quickly.
And also, making step-by-step progress. He didn't come to the front, straight ahead, but you can see that the guy's improving and he's super strong.
Yeah. How do we feel about, so Roglić is in 4th.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's looked pretty good, but I will say think of peak Primož. He used to just show up at these early season stage races. I'm going back through his seasons right now and just win. He would just win the first stage race. Boom. Easy. Done. The last few years, it's not been so automatic, and I wonder if this is a waning of his ability.
But this is not peak Primož anymore. We have to accept it. The young guard is coming, and Primož is still there. He has the experience. He's in 4th now, and we've hardly seen him, right?
Yeah,
but he's there. But I think he will also accept. It was funny, actually. I just saw an interview of Primož from today before the start. The guy is just something else. There's this journalist, and by the way, I'm going to say it here, Eurosport, you guys need to do a better job by picking these guys who interview the riders in English. I watched both Paris-Nice and Tirreno, and it is not acceptable. Some of the guys, when they're really on the limit, they just finished, and they don't understand the question because the guys speak very bad English. There's one French guy and one Spanish guy. I don't know who it is, but they need to do a better job, man, at picking guys who speak proper English. The guy asks Primož, about the climb of today, the finishing climb. And he said, yeah, because, 2023, you won here. He said, which climb? I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, that's the climb, huh? Oh, it's pretty hard, huh? So the guy just doesn't remember. He did not remember that was the climb where he won the stage. And normally, bike riders are pretty good with, photographic memory of, places or stages they've won. Of course, Primož has won a lot of races.
It's like 100 race wins. Yeah.
Listen, I've had conversations, now during our time there in Tuscany with Gianni Bugno and especially with Cipollini. Man, the detail that Cipollini Cipollini won a lot of races, more than 100. More than 100. I don't know how many, but definitely more than 100. There's certain details that he tells me that I said, wow, it's really in their mind, like burned in their mind. They know all the details. So anyway, Primoz is a bit different. Sometimes I don't think he know. Sometimes I don't think he know which stage it is.
That's true. He's a website, by the way, with merch. It's very funny. Like the way it's written. Like he's a legitimately funny person. I think that tries to pretend to be boring. I was debating with Bradley Wiggins do you think Mark Cavendish can remember every one of his tour wins, or has he won so many tour stages he's forgotten them?
No, the 30 he will remember them for sure.
Yeah. You're right. Some people, it's freakish almost how well they remember certain races, certain victories.
Details.
Yeah. Well, anything else on Tirreno before we go to Paris-Nice? Anything else that stuck out to you?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow is the decisive stage. So I say, unless Del Toro has an off day, which is possible. We saw today Tiberi had an off day. He was
probably
all the time. So
gotta be sick, you'd think.
He had
he
had a really bad day.
Yeah. Like shockingly bad. I think what about Wout van Aert? What have you thought of him at this race? I
think Van Aert is in good condition. I think I saw a few interviews of him also. He was disappointed yesterday, to not be able to win the stage. I think he admitted he made a mistake by wanting to close that gap, and then Vanderpool just blew by him. But he's okay with his form. I did speak with some staff members there at the start of Strade Bianche about Wout, and they said, that he needed Strade Bianche and Tirreno to really get to the top of his form. So it looks good. He's there. He's there. When like yesterday on the climb, he was there. He was suffering, but he was up there.
Well, there's GC guys getting dropped. Like Richard Carapaz dropped.
And also, I think it says a lot that, Jorgenson was setting the tempo and dropping almost everybody, and he was setting the pace for Wout. So, I think he's where he has to be in terms of his race form. Don't know what that's going to be for Milan-San Remo. I do see that he had this issue in Strade Bianche and a little bit also in the gravel stage of Tirreno. I keep seeing these like problems with positioning at the entrance of a critical point, which is obviously something for Milan-San Remo is very important, and for the classics too. So that's something we've seen from Wout, and it's only normal after so many crashes. It's kind of logical that you think twice before you have to rub shoulders and elbows and knees and heads with everybody else to fight for your place at the entrance of a critical moment in the race.
Yeah, like stage 2, he was climbing really well, but he just started. If he starts in a better position, maybe he's with Vanderpool. I remember Roubaix last year. He was really struggling with putting himself in the spot he needed to be in. Well, we'll see. Man, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I wouldn't read too much into it. I've wasted a lot of time reading a lot into Tirreno performances, and then
condition-wise, I think he is where he has to be. I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's looked. I mean, the man had surgery on his ankle not that long ago. So,
and then got sick before the opening weekend. Then he did the Grand Prix Salmaine. Had a puncture, I guess, in the final. So this is basically his first competition.
Do you think he looked a little in the final yesterday, a little too like, let me close these gaps for you, Mathieu? Let me get out like it. It's a little overeager, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that was he definitely made mistakes there. He shouldn't have done that, especially knowing that it was Ghana, no, who attacked? Yeah, it was Ghana.
Ghana looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but a little bit of a potential preview of the final straight at San Remo, something to think about as we get excited for that.
Yeah.
And then, do you have something else on Tirreno before we take a quick break?
No, I think we've covered everything, Spencer, on Tirreno.
Okay, let's take a quick break and then we'll talk Paris-Nice. Everybody, this episode is brought to you by Gusto. Small business life means hustling and figuring it all out, a lot of times on your own. But you don't have to spend your evenings guessing at tax forms or tracking down onboarding docs. Gusto handles all of that so you can spend your time on the parts of your business that you actually love, like for me, watching pro cycling, breaking it down, writing about it, talking about it. Gusto is an online payroll and benefit software built for small businesses. If you own a small business, you're going to want Gusto. I have a small business beyond the Peloton, and I was struggling before I got Gusto. And when April gets closer, I still feel the anxiety I used to feel while running my business. Without Gusto, have I withheld taxes? What do I owe? Have I broken the law? I hope not. Well, now payroll runs are automatic, taxes are handled, and there are no out-of-the-blue surprise payments, just unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price. And all the stuff that used to be annoying, offer letters, onboarding, direct deposit, it's all baked right in. The other big thing, peace of mind. When you're running a small business, the last thing you want to do is wonder if you messed up a form or missed a payment. Gusto just makes it feel handled. If you're tired of admin work creeping into your nights and weekends, Gusto is honestly one of the easiest upgrades you can make. I cannot recommend it enough. I was spending a lot of my nights and weekends just worrying about, have I withheld taxes? Well, with Gusto, I don't have to worry about it. So try Gusto today at gusto.com/themove. Get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/themove. That's gusto.com/themove. Everybody, this episode is brought to you by Mint Mobile. I don't know about you, but I like keeping my money where I can see it. Unfortunately, traditional big wireless carriers also seem like they want to keep my money too. After years of overpaying for wireless, I finally got fed up with crazy high wireless bills, bogus fees, and free perks that actually cost more in the long run than I was getting, and switched to Mint Mobile. Now I'm saving tons of money every month, and my service is even better. So stop paying for wireless just because that's how it's always been. Mint exists purely to fix that. Mint is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Bring your own phone number, too. Activate it with an eSIM in minutes. So easy. And start saving immediately. No long-term contracts, no hassle. So if you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/themove. That's mintmobile.com/themove. Upfront payment of $45 or 3 months, 5 gigabyte plan required. New customer offer is first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Okay, we're back, Johan. I would say usually the maybe more prestigious race of the two, but the one I've not enjoyed as much between the two this year. Paris-Nice, led by Jonas Vingegaard. I think the largest, and let me pull up his margin of lead here. It is unbelievable. He is leading
more than
by
2 minutes.
3 3.5 minutes, 3 minutes, 22 seconds.
Wow.
I've never seen that at Paris-Nice before.
No, Paris-Nice is a race usually won by very, very small margins. That's pure dominance. Pure dominance. Definitely, showed up. I remember, Spencer, you a few weeks ago, you looked at the program, I think before he added Paris-Nice, and you said you were worried about Jonas Vingegaard if he could get ready for the Giro. I'm asking you today, are you still worried?
I don't know. I don't know. Not quite sure we've seen enough from him. I think I have so many messages in my inbox of like, can Tade keep up? I'm like, I'm not quite ready to go there yet, but I think we could like auto sim the Giro. I don't even know if we need to race it. Like this guy looks unbelievable.
He looks strong. Very strong. Certainly shows that, he's ready. I mean, it shows that he was definitely preparing the season to start really well at UAE, then had to cancel it because of that crash on training. And then when they decided to add Paris-Nice, it's because they knew he was ready. Otherwise, he wouldn't race. But yeah, I mean, very, very dominant. I mean, first of all, Lamperti wins, then what's his name? Canter wins, and then Ineos wins the time trial. That was the team time trial, Spencer. Was interesting. Ineos winning. It's been a while since they won a team time trial.
Yeah,
I think quite a while. So that was a really, really nice win. Of course, if you have guys like Darling there, and Kwiatkowski and what's the guy?
Kevin Vauquelin is really good.
So they win before Little Trek. But for me, the most impressive performance of that day, Spencer, was Dan Hoel.
That was wild
from Decathlon. That was insane. He was by himself the last 5 kilometers, and he beats Visma.
You've only finished 11 seconds behind Ineos.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy impressive.
He said, did you see his quote? He said, I don't know if this actually mathematically is true. He's like, oh no, I thought it was easier because I didn't have to go so slow with everybody else.
Well, that's a bit over the top, I think.
Could be something to it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he's a great time trialist. He did win the time trial in the Giro, no? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he won a stage last year.
Dutch champion several times already. Great time trialist, but still, Decathlon has a great team. They had the best intermediate time, by the way. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Ineos beat it. But at the time,
was that on purpose? You think? Like, was that a tactic? Like, we're going to go out here?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, but the guys were just exploding left, right, and center. It was crazy. So that was the most impressive performance of that day. And then, Spencer, we have stage 4. Unexpectedly, the whole peloton blows apart with the wind. We had crashes. Ayuso crashes out. McNulty crashes also, right? McNulty crashes. Is he still in the race?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, that was like unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was, first of all, it really motivated me to have you hook me up with another way to watch races, because not only could we not see anything because everyone's in black rain jackets, there's water on the camera. In the US, we're going to commercial every 10 seconds. Like, I can't figure out what's happening in this race. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the start list. Brandon McNulty. Also, you're not going to believe this, but the splits from that time trial, Ineos 15 seconds faster than Decathlon at the T1. And Dan Hoel was actually faster than an Ineos to the finish. 3 seconds faster in the second half. Yeah. That's crazy. Brandon McNulty is not here. No. So Red Bull was on the front, and I've never seen so many. It was like the whole field was just disappearing because everybody was crashing out behind them.
Well, I mean, it was crosswind, and then there was a downhill, and then there was the crash. Unfortunately, the yellow jersey, Ayuso, who was one of the co-favorites, right, of Paris-Nice, crashed out and had to abandon. So, but then we saw Red Bull doing an amazing team performance. And finally, there were 4 riders. There was the 2 Van Dijk brothers and Dani Martinez and Jonas Vingegaard. So Jonas just sat on, didn't take a pull, and nobody asked anything. They just kept going. I mean, you could look at it both ways, right? I mean, you could say, why do they do this? But at the same time, I kind of think it was okay to do it because they were assuring the podium, which, I think they know that Martinez is not going to beat Vingegaard. No way, with the stages that were still ahead. So by them pulling so hard, I mean, Martinez also didn't pull. They kept taking this time, and they basically, unless Martinez cracks, and they basically assured second spot or third spot. So in a race where there's a big favorite, being the next, the best of the rest is kind of a small victory. And it's been a while since we've seen Dani Martinez in the front of a big race.
It's big for Martinez to get second here. I mean, that's a big result. I would also say, I know people don't like it, and it looked weird. I would say during the race, I was like, what are they doing? Have one of the Van Dijks attack. Why are you doing this? The more I think about it, I think it's I think if you just viewed it as let's increase our chances of winning this race, I think this is the right move, because if something happens to Jonas, this is what we've been saying, like, just race for second. These guys are so good. You're not going to beat them. If something happens to them, then you win. Yeah. So I think that's just from a game theory perspective, they're doing the right thing, even if it looks odd.
Yeah. And still, I don't think, the only thing I don't understand, Spencer, is, when Jonas went with, what was it, a kilometer to go, maybe 700 meters, to maybe a kilometer to go or something. Yeah. If Martinez couldn't even react. He could barely stay with Van Dijk.
I know, he could barely beat his teammate.
So you must feel that. You must have communicated with your teammate, hey, I'm done. I'm cooked. I can't get out of the saddle anymore. It was an incredible hard stage with the rain, the cold, the speed. But at the same time, then, okay, what else could they have done, right? So if one of the Van Dijkers would have attacked, Jonas would have followed and then dropped him. There was no way.
Dropped him, and he's in a worse. Yeah.
So,
if they try to get cute with it, Martinez gets dropped earlier and is in a worse position. Yeah. So you're right. They needed that, worked out perfectly because Martinez was so screwed. He just had to get as close as possible to the finish. Also, do you know who the Van Dijk twins used to be on a team with?
Visma.
Jonas Vingegaard. Yeah. It's a little secret reunion there. Quick question for you on this. I personally liked the way they raced. I think that was good. Is this going to burn any goodwill? Like, there was all these people crashing and they're just like, see ya, we're out of here.
Oh, that's the race. Because they were pulling already. They were on the front already. So obviously they knew there was wind, it was rainy, dangerous downhill. If you're as a team, if you're already taking action and the action was planned and it was clear that this was, planned already. If they crash, then that's it. You could maybe 15, 20 years ago, you could have said, okay, well, but in today's cycling, that's just not the case. Nobody waits for nobody.
It is a little funny to me that even in the recent past, stages have been neutralized at Paris-Nice that are similar to this stage. And then this somehow is not neutralizable.
Well, it's because it was individuals who crashed. There was not a big group of people crashing. There was 2 here, 3 there. Okay, it happens to be the race leader, but there was not like 10 or 15 guys going down all at once. And especially, if the race is on, it's difficult to stop that, to make that decision. If it's because of a bad corner or something, or you could say, okay, it's the parcours, and we have to take this into account. But this was on a straight road because of the speed, the wind, whatever it was.
And Ineos, I know we're going to get to what I know everyone wants us to talk about the bibs. We're going to get there in a second, but
the Vingegaard bibs.
But before, so Ineos gets totally screwed here because Kevin Vauclin misses the split like before the TV coverage comes on. He's not that far back. He's like 40 seconds back, but Oscar Onley's in the front group, so they don't chase. Oscar Onley crashes, has to change his bike. Is some reason not allowed to then draft back on, maybe because the group's too small, and then they lose him in the front group, and then they miss their chance to chase back on. Like, really bad luck there from Ineos. But and when we're treated to the site, we get near the end. Jonas, who clearly is very skilled at riding in cold weather, dressing for cold weather, he's kind of disrobing for the final climb, and you notice he had this like rain jacket on backwards. That's a guy that knows what he's doing. And then his bibs are off, and then he puts his bib straps back on, and it's over his jersey. He kind of looks like Borat. Do you know the story behind this? I was confused.
I do know the story behind it. I heard it. So it was a plan, an idea of our good friend Victor Campenaerts.
Yeah, this had you see this, and Campenaerts has something to do with it.
So what they did is this. They must have decided this in the bus when they saw the weather. Campenaerts came up with this idea, and Jonas said, I want that. So what happened is, so he got a lot of clothes on, right? So he had a rain jacket on top of his race jersey, and then on like backwards. And then on top of that, he had like a bigger jacket. And so Campenaerts cut the chamois out of the long bibs to not ride with 2 chamois. And the idea was to, at some point in the race, maybe take it off, maybe take it off on the bike or whatever. And they cut it in front and they cut it in the back.
So he could like Superman it off, right?
To basically strip it off, right? So you could basically break it and get it off. That was the plan. The only thing is that, Jonas never found the time because the race was on and it never slowed down. So then he took his top off and then he rode with that pips over. That was, it's not gonna become a trend, Spencer. That kind of fashion. I don't think anybody will take it as an example. But listen, they stayed warm, and that might be the key to the victory because Dani Martinez was he riding long pants? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Everybody looked like they were frozen, except Jonas.
Very cold. Yeah,
and
well, actually, you know what? I saw somewhere that Red Bull had special skin suits for that stage to ride in the rain. So special material, like waterproof skin suits.
Interesting.
I mean, they didn't look like they were. I mean, the Van Dijk brothers. I mean, okay, they're big guys. They're Dutch. You know, they're used to ride in cold weather. But they didn't look like they were cold. These guys, they were going.
They were flying. It actually looked like it looked like they were riding in a different weather condition than everybody else. There could be something to that. It shows you. I think it's a crime against humanity, at least the fashion that they committed, but pretty interesting, and it shows like a level of innovation. Like, we need to stay warm. How do we stay warm? And they came up with a solution. I think more teams should think like that. I think a lot of teams don't do it because you think, well, it's going to look goofy. We can't do that. But clearly it worked.
I don't think Jonas cares too much about what it looks like. He doesn't seem that kind of guy. He just wants to be, like warm and safe and fast.
And so he's rewarded for that. I still have doubts if you could rip a bib tight off that was on the side of the road.
I think so, Spencer, because if you look, they cut it all the way down, like as low as possible, front and back. So the plan was to just rip it off and then just basically take it off as a leg warmer. Yeah,
I guess you just rip it in two and then it's pretty interesting.
That's something that only Campenaerts can come up with. I mean, the guy's just, very innovative. He just always thinks about details, but it worked.
I would say when he got signed to that team, I thought kind of a weird signing. I don't really see it. And then it's really paid dividends.
He's on an unbelievable level. Like yesterday's stage, the work he did there, and setting that pace. While he was, and the guy gives it all. Like when he pulls off, he just goes in parking mode, just standing still. But I would say 50% of the climbers are dropped already when he pulls off.
Yeah, he's incredible, and he's coming up with their warming technology on the bus in his spare time.
The last guy to lead out Jonas in the team time trial.
Yeah, man, he's a very, very useful rider, very good rider for them. Let's take another quick break, and then I have a few questions for you about what this all means. Everybody, this episode is brought to you by Hims. You've got places to be. Sitting in a waiting room for hair loss treatment is not one of them. Hims makes expert care accessible on your schedule so you can skip the line and focus on feeling like yourself again. Hims offers convenient access to a range of prescription hair loss treatments with ingredients that work, including chews, oral medications, serums, and sprays. Hims can help since doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil can stop further hair loss and, believe it or not, even regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. And Hims thinks you shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself, which is why they bring expert care straight to you, to your door, with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. No hidden fees, no surprise costs, just real personalized care on your schedule. So for simple online access to personalized and affordable care for hair loss, ED, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/themove. That's hims.com/themove, HIMS.com/themove for your free online visit today. Featured products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information. Individual results may vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Okay, Johan, we're back. So we just went through the races. Having all of this in mind, where do you, like, if you had to rank the sport's top GC riders, like currently, right now, if the Tour de France started on Monday, who do you think are the best GC riders right now?
Well, first of all, there's Tadej Pogaćar. He's the best in basically everything. And then, I mean, if you look at it, for me personally, quality-wise, the two guys who are now leading, Tirreno and Paris, are the next two. I think that's the top three. Del Toro probably, I mean, in the Tour, when he has to work for today, he probably won't finish third. But, quality-wise, I think he's up there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think today, number one, and by today, I mean Tade, but I think his name is actually Today. And Jonas, number two. I think this has been a big week. Maybe it's not a surprise. I thought that we would see the shifting of generations where Juan Ayuso would be beating Jonas.
We won't know, right? But I personally don't think, I mean, the level Jonas Vingegaard is on right now, I don't think there's anybody else except Pogaćar who can match that or get better. I don't see, for the moment, I don't see Ayuso, I don't see Pelizzari or Roglić or Del Toro. Jonas is still a step above those guys, I think.
What about Paul Seixas?
Seixas, no.
I agree with you. I think this has been the biggest week anyone's ever had to announce that they're going to get second at the Tour de France, because he looks really good.
Again, if you're in second position and something happens to the leader, then you win.
Yeah, it's true. It's like why I like Red Bull's tactics so much at this race, because I think it's not a bad way to think about it. If he just shows up to the Tour ready to get second, he could win. Because
let's not forget his main goal is the Giro, Spencer. And if he wins the Giro, he will have won all 3 Grand Tours before.
Which is a super select list.
Not very many. Hasn't won the 3 Grand Tours yet, right? No. So that's definitely a goal for Jonas. And then and he says that usually in the second Grand Tour he's better than in the first one. I don't know about that, because I think that in the Vuelta, I mean, he won the Vuelta, but he was not as strong as in the Tour in the Vuelta.
No. Actually, that Vuelta, looking back, that is super impressive, because he was not well, probably didn't have great preparation, and he just kind of punched out a win.
Yeah.
I think I read that at the time. I was like, ooh, Jonas is fading. These young guys are coming fast. But it's like he just was not at his best, and he still figured out a way to win. He looks incredible. I don't know. I would say, who knows? Because he didn't go to altitude after the Tour last year. If he wins, let's say he wins the Giro, takes his Tour preparation really seriously, I think, I don't know, maybe he does show up better.
And so we have to put everything in a context, right? You look at the competition also, right? So I mean, if Jonas doesn't win this, I mean, he should win this, because with all due respect, Dani Martinez and who's in third now?
Man. It's somebody. How did I forget this? It's Danny Martinez, Jörg Steinhauser, the German.
There you go. It's only logical he wins and he destroys everybody, right?
Well, I guess the way he loses is remember Roglić had these these bad patches of luck where he'd be winning Paris-Nice and it'd crash horribly on the last day. That's the only way that he doesn't.
Yeah, but I mean, quality wise, he's a level above everybody else.
Maybe more than one level.
Yeah, and if you look at the competition, it's 2 levels above Dani Martinez and Jörg Steinhauser. So is it George Steinhauser?
I don't know. I mean,
Georg.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think it's Jet. Probably not George. So I agree with you. I think it's today, Jonas, Del Toro, top 3 stage racers right now. But it's probably safe to say Paul Seixas, pretty good. Going to be up there.
Yeah, never done a Grand Tour yet, so we'll see.
Did we talk about this?
By the way, it looks like it's more and more confirmed that he is absolutely doing the Tour de France. Paul Seixas.
Yeah, I think he kind of has to.
They haven't announced it, but you can read in between the lines from interviews from the general manager that he's on for the Tour. So that's going to be interesting.
And that is interesting. So he's out of contract at the end of 2027. He's not talking contract extensions with Decathlon right now. He said he wants
I think
to
it's
see
only logical, Spencer. I mean, like I saw his agent there at Tirreno. I didn't talk to him about Seixas, but if you have a good agent and you have a guy like Paul Seixas, you just sit and wait and let the offers come and then use it. I mean, most likely he's going to stay with Decathlon. I mean, I think he should stay there because that's a French team. They have they have the resources. They're going to build everything around, and they are already now a really good team, like a really good team. That's like a different team from what AG2R was in the past, right? So I think it's just a way to just increase the price. If he has offers from UAE and Ineos and whoever else has big pockets, Red Bull, then he can still stay at Decathlon, but just for much more money.
Here's the problem, though. And I have a couple questions for you. So I've spent the last few days going through French employment taxes.
Correct.
If let's say you make $1 million a year, if let's just say that's what Paul Seixas makes, he's going to make more than that. A French company like Decathlon has to pay him 1.5 million basically because they pay so much in employment taxes. So they have to pay a 50% premium on rival teams to sign their own rider. Is there a chance that what's to stop them from going and registering in Switzerland? Do you think they're going to do that?
The team?
Yeah, the team. No.
French company? No, they're never going to go to Switzerland. No.
So
they just have to increase the budget, Spencer. And let me tell you, Decathlon is huge, but the second sponsor, what's it called? CMA.
It's like a shipping company, right?
Yeah. I checked the numbers. It's 5 times bigger than Decathlon.
Interesting.
Their annual turnover. It's huge.
Interesting.
So the money's not a problem.
So speaking of money, what's this guy going to go for? 2028 rolls around. What's his contract? Like, what's it going to take to sign him?
I mean, it depends what he does, right? I mean, we still need to wait.
Let's say he got signed right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think right now probably 4 million.
Oh, no, it's got to be more than that.
No.
I honestly, Johan, I think if he was on the market right now, I think he would make more money than Tadej Pogaćar. People cannot control themselves around this guy.
No.
People are out of their mind. 4 million euros. That's not even what Remco's making.
Well, look at Del Palmares.
It's not about Palmares. It's about expected future return.
I know. But anyways, maybe I'm out of it. But I would pay him 4 million.
I think it's going to take an offer of.
No, it's going to take more. It's going to take an offer.
It's going to take $100 million offer. I think. Like 10 years, 100
Which
mil.
sport are you watching?
Dude, these salaries are spiraling out of control. Like Juan Ayuso just got a 10 million euro transfer fee.
Okay, well he doesn't make 10 million. He probably makes 3 million.
Well, it goes into the same just the same package. So Seixas will not leave mid contract. So it's going to take a sock of money to get him away from Decathlon, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say conservatively, I think it could be conservatively 5 years, 50 million euros. So 10 million a year. I think so.
No.
Dude, these people can't control themselves around this guy.
Okay, well, listen.
I've never seen.
Good for him, but that makes no sense economically in the business model of cycling. No.
And if he wins the Tour this year, you could be talking 100 mil a year.
He's not going to win the
Tour. Sky's the limit. So
Spencer, he's not going to win the Tour this year.
Probably not. But let's say, what if Pogaćar and Jonas get hurt?
Okay,
he could win.
Then there's still others he hasn't beaten yet.
I think you think more highly of the others than I do.
Well, listen, the guy is obviously super good. My question is, how much can he still improve? And He's super good. Already he's top of the world right now. So even if he doesn't improve, he's fine. He's up there. He will improve because of experience, getting more endurance, knowing his body, knowing the races. But I think the margin of progression is limited. We've said it before, if you compare him with the 19, 20-year-old Pogaćar, it's a completely different story. Pogaćar, and let's not forget Pogaćar, when he was 20, he won the Tour de France. Unpolished, completely unpolished. And Paul Seixas is super polished.
The thing, though, about Seixas and improvement, I have concerns about the improvement as well. But we're watching a guy just dominate Tirreno-Adriatico, and that guy got dropped off Seixas's wheel after Seixas pulled him around at Strada. He's already... Well, Seixas pulled Del Toro around.
Yeah. Did he get dropped, or did Del Toro just not dispute the third place, the second place?
Yeah, I don't know. You know a lot of ultra competitive people. Do you know?
I rewatched the images, Spencer. I mean, I'm not sure, but maybe Del Toro was completely out of gas. But let me tell you, he didn't try very hard, and Pogaćar and Seixas did not attack. It looked to me like Seixas was surprised that Del Toro wasn't there anymore, which is possible. You can completely be dead and say, okay, you know what? But listen, let's, we can't debate about this forever. Seixas, the real deal, he's 19. He has a future in front of him, but there are other riders who have proven already much more. And Seixas will probably prove the same, but he hasn't yet.
The problem with proving yourself is then and then you lose the magic. Like with João Almeida, we kind of know what he is.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for us to imagine something amazing where Paul Seixas can be anything you want him to be because he's not raced a Grand Tour yet. So maybe he's better than Pogaćar. That's part of the intoxication. That's why you should sign big deals when you're a young athlete before people know your limitations.
You could probably say that Seixas right now is on a higher level than Pogaćar was in his first year. But at the same time, Pogaćar won 3 stages at the Vuelta in his first year and finished 3rd. We'll see what Seixas. I mean, you can't compare the Tour de France with the Vuelta.
We'll see. Probably is better than Pogaćar in 2019. But the thing that you're pulling at that's right is, well, Pogaćar got a lot better between 2019 and 2020. Can Paul Seixas? Pogaćar got a lot better between 2025 and 2026. Can Seixas keep improving? Yeah, that's the big question. Where is Juan Ayuso after this? To me, this is a little got to be deflating for Lidl Trek and him. Came in with a lot of expectations.
It's bad luck. I mean, you can't fight against bad luck. I mean, if you crash out, you crash out. I mean, we won't know.
Do we know how long he's out?
Not very long. He doesn't have any major injuries. He has nothing broken, or I expect him to make. I don't know if it was on his program, but he could be back for Catalonia. Now that he missed out on. Is it on his program?
It's on Basque Country is.
Oh, Basque Country.
He looked pretty hurt. I guess they didn't release anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, he has no major injuries apparently, so it could have been, the shock of the moment and feeling really horrible and not being able to ride your bike. It is possible, right? I mean, nobody can feel from a distance what these guys feel after hitting the ground, and it's a combination of physical pain and then mentally seeing everything escape. And I think it's reassuring to know that there's no big injuries, nothing broken, nothing torn, and it seemed that everything was going to be okay. I think next week he's back to training normally.
And then it's all for the Tour, right? That's the big, I guess, Liège and then the Tour de France. Mm-hmm. So someone sent this question in, and kind of, I think I have an answer in my head, but I want you to answer it. I don't remember saying this. This is from Angel, however that maybe Angel.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't remember saying this. He was saying after Pogaćar lost, that must have been 2023 3 in the Tour, second year in a row. We were saying like, it's so like, but Jonas is just a better GC rider. It kind of, I guess the proof at the time was that Jonas was better. Pogaćar maybe was never going to win the Tour again. And then, of course, Pogaćar goes on to completely retool himself as a rider, hit a second apex, is now better than ever. Is it possible for that Jonas is doing this right now? And if not, why not?
Yes, but he's not going to be all of a sudden better than Pogaćar. But listen, I mean, I hope he is on a higher level and that we see a great battle. You know, that's what we want. You know, we don't want the Tour to be decided after the first mountain stage and then basically know the result. As a spectator, you know, as a team director, I've been in that position quite a few times and I kind of liked it. But as a spectator, I don't like it too much. So let's hope that that's the case, that Jonas has stepped up and it looks amazing. I'm curious to see, you know, the analysis of power numbers and times and stuff to see what this really means, because as we said, you know, we need to check who he's racing against.
Well, I also think people were pretty taxed by it's just hard. It's always hard racing at Paris-Nice, you know, with the weather. I don't know if you're getting the world's best power numbers.
It's not a nice race. I never liked Paris-Nice. It's not a nice race. It's always miserable. Look, tomorrow they're talking about alternating or canceling part of the stage because the snow is coming in. So we're probably not going to see a big mountain stage tomorrow.
Which actually goes to show you why Jonas is so good. You know, like doesn't leave it to chance. Just like, let me get time when I can, because I don't know what's going to happen later in the race. I would also, just a couple facts. Jonas is 29 years old right now. When Pogaćar lost the Tour for the second time, he was 24. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know it at the time, but he also wasn't as professional as he is now. So he changed his program and he just physically got older and got closer to his peak.
Yeah.
I don't think Jonas is a growing boy. I think he's probably at his peak, and he is getting to an age when we see people to stop winning the biggest races. It's hard to win races over 30 in pro cycling. It's not that he's going to be bad. I don't know if he's not going to make a massive jump, most likely at that age.
No, I mean, he can improve a bit, but not massively. No.
Yeah. So I think
you also need to know, Spencer, that, you know, it has not been easy for Jonas in the last 2 years. You know, he had some issues with crashes and injuries, and this year again, right, into training. But yeah, I mean, if he can stay healthy and not crash, then he should have, you know, a really good preparation for the Giro, which I expect him to win. And then we'll see how he recovers from the Giro and how he's at the Tour de France. It's the same like Tadej 2 years ago, right, when he won the Giro and then the Tour.
Yeah. It's simple, just like that. This does actually remind me of 2023. I don't know if you remember this. He wins Au Grand Camino. He loses Paris-Nice, actually. Yeah. Wins Basque Country, wins the Dauphiné, and wins the Tour. So he reminds me of that rider, the 2023 early season Jonas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. Anything else, Johan, before we take? Oh, also we should say Ineos Grenadiers, new co-sponsor, new title sponsor.
New title sponsor. Yeah.
Net company.
Yeah.
Are the figures public?
Well, I mean, I've seen somewhere that I read an article that Jim Ratcliffe, the owner of Ineos, the company, and the owner of the team, is willing to give away the naming rights. He's still going to finance the team. It's not like Ineos has something to sell to people, to consumers, right? They don't have a product to sell. So he's going to keep financing the team, but let this new title sponsor in for 5 years. And reportedly, it's a $100 million, euro, pound deal over 5 years. So 20 million per year. So this is an extra 20 million to the budget. I don't know if Ineos is going to decrease their financial support to the team, but it's definitely, I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, I think 2 years ago, or even last year, I think on a podcast, I said, I expect Ineos to gradually wind down and just let the team go. Not the case. So it looks like starting at the Tour de France already, the team is going to be called Net Company Total Energies. It's going to be difficult to get used to it.
I know. I just got used to Ineos. I'm still stuck on Team Sky. What happened, guys?
Exactly.
It's actually weird that it's going to take a lot of work to get used to that. It gives them a lot more financial flexibility, and financial flexibility for what end? To what end, you may ask? Well, there could be a pretty talented GC rider coming available at the end of 2027.
There's already a few French riders there. There's Vauquelin, there's Godon, there's Axel Laurence, there's another one, I think. So they could go for Paul Seixas.
Well, they have these two big sponsors, Net Company, a big Danish company, and then Total Energy.
And then Total Energy is French company, they could go big after Paul Seixas.
And it frees up.
I do think, however, that the financial resources of Decathlon and was it CMA? No, is it CMA or CGA? CMA?
I think it's CMA.
Yeah, they're up there. They're up there with Ineos. If they want.
CMA CGN.
Yeah.
It rolls off the tongue. Yeah, it's a huge shipping company.
Well, everybody said Decathlon. Nobody talks about the second sponsor, but they're huge. And if they have to, they will step up to try to keep Paul Seixas. So it's going to be an interesting development. I expect him to stay there in 2028.
All right. You heard it here first, folks. But this also just gives Ineos, instead of asking for Jim Ratcliffe for a bunch of money to fund the team, now they're kind of self-sufficient. If they need extra money to sign a generational talent, they can. But I think it just gets them running on like smooth footing.
With your prediction, Spencer, there's not going to be much left of the 20 million if you think that Seixas is going to be paid 10 million per year.
Did you see what people are losing their minds? What was who runs the Groupama team?
Marc Madiot.
I think he said, we've not seen a Frenchman this dominant since Hinault. Is he forgetting that Frenchman just won double world championships not that long ago?
Spencer, Madiot needs to tell his story, so he always plays into what people want to hear. So he's a dinosaur.
I thought that was kind of a little Alaphilippe erasure. Pretty decent French rider who, he took the Tour by storm in 2019. Come on, guys. Let's see Paul Seixas start a Tour before we declare him better than Alaphilippe. All right, Johan, anything else before we take off?
That's it. We'll see each other on Monday, I guess, to recap Tirreno and Paris-Nice.
Yes, we will be back on Monday to... something's going to come up. We think this is straightforward, but something will happen that will have us talking, hopefully, about something on Monday. But I'll see you then. Bye.
Okay, thanks.